There is no way that this is happening again as the discrepancy between the Milwaukee Bucks and the NBA refs continue to drag on as the Milwaukee Bucks have just dropped their fifth game in a row to the Portland Trailblazers. And we're going to get into exactly how the refs continue to screw over the Milwaukee Bucks, as well as a recap of last night's game against the Portland Trailblazers. But guys, before we get into everything in today's video, we noticed that 67.5% of you are not subscribed. So please make sure to hit that subscribe button, comment, and like down below, and let me know how you're feeling about the Milwaukee Bucks this season. But guys, we got a lot to get into in today's video, of course, specifically regarding the officiating, which you can see here from this Bucks fan here. He's saying that I hate complaining about the refs, but Milwaukee has just been getting refed differently than every other team in the league, and it's tough to watch. League needs to be better. Now, guys, obviously we've covered a video before about how bad the officiating has been, specifically against the Milwaukee Bucks. We know that Giannis has always constantly been getting hacked at drives to the rim. Even other players like Ryan Rollins or guys that are driving to the rim like Kyle Kuzma or even Miles Turner on occasion when he's not sticking out by the three-point line. But you look at a stat here that I wanted to go over, guys, and right here you can see that the Milwaukee Bucks are last right now in total free throw percentage, only getting about 71% from the line. But that's not the one I wanted to look at first. It's this one right here, which has the Bucks second last at free throw attempts per game, just sitting there at 21. And obviously, this is just a big representation of how bad the refereeing has been, and how often the Bucks are not getting calls when they're getting drives to the rim or when players are being extra physical with the Bucks players, and they're taking advantage of that right now with Giannis Antetokounmpo being out. Teams can definitely be a little more physical with the Milwaukee Bucks, knowing that if they don't really have their primary shot creator right now in Giannis, a guy who is obviously holds a lot of gravity when he's on the floor defensively and offensively, and now with Ryan Rollins being the primary shot creator, besides probably I would say Miles Turner or Kyle Kuzma, teams are really taking advantage of that right now, and they're of course being extra physical with the Milwaukee Bucks. But obviously that could also be another thing, that we don't have a lot of guys that are driving to the rim as much when Giannis is on the floor, and that could be another testament to the low amount of free throws right now, because of course Giannis leads the team in free throw attempts with around 10 per game, and of course he doesn't have the best free throw percentage, as we track back here to this stat here, where the Milwaukee Bucks are of course not just not getting to the free throw line because of the discrepancy between the referees, but of course there's also the fact that they don't really drive to the rim as much when you have Giannis Antetokounmpo. But of course, we all know that the Milwaukee Bucks are just being, screwed over by the refs every other game, and it's kind of a testament to why this Bucks team has, lost a few games so far. Even though, of course, they're not executing as well without Giannis on the floor. But I mean, you can see here that even when they're getting the free throw line, of course, they're not knocking down their free throws. So that's definitely something that they do need to clean up when they do get the opportunities to actually shoot a free throw, which is, of course, a very integral part of the game. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's 1 point or if it's 2 points. Every single point is going to decide a basketball game, and obviously the Bucks really need to take advantage of that right now. If you take a look at their upcoming schedule right now, you can see that they face the Miami Heat tomorrow, and most of these teams going into them are they're relatively healthy. The New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson is back. OG Anunoby will be out. He has a hamstring injury right now, so he won't be playing for that game against the Milwaukee Bucks. Miami Heat are relatively healthy now. They have Tyler Herro back. The Washington Wizards, hopefully that's a game that the Milwaukee Bucks won't drop before Giannis Antetokounmpo comes back. He'll be slated to come back around when they play the Detroit Pistons again, which of course they did end up losing and dropping that game to them, losing against the Portland Trailblazers last night. But hopefully those two games against the Brooklyn Nets and the Washington Wizards would be ones that I would think that they could absolutely win. They faced off against the Washington Wizards in their first game of the year, the game where Kevin Porter Jr. unfortunately got hurt. But, taking a look at this schedule, guys, I know before we covered this schedule here, and I noticed that I think that we could win a lot of those games. I mean, they almost bet the Philadelphia 76ers, who, were a little injury depleted at the time, but absolutely still a winnable game. The Detroit Pistons game was another one that, unfortunately they dropped. And the Portland Trailblazers one was, one that I didn't feel super confident heading into, but seeing that they had most of their starters out, as you can see here from their box score. Damian Lillard, of course, is not playing due to his Achilles injury. Shaedon Sharpe didn't play. Matisse Thybulle didn't play, as well as Drew Holiday, who did not play, along with Scoot Henderson. But, this team is obviously very talented defensively. Toumani Camara, in particular, is one of their best defenders. But, his defensive play has not been as up to par this year as it was last year. But overall, The Portland Trailblazers, very, very talented team. They gave Milwaukee the business, of course. And, Doc Rivers has made a lot of comments on this team specifically on how teams have been playing around them. You can see here that in the tweet, he asked Doc Rivers about the Bucks not matching the physicality of their opponents in the last few games. And Doc Rivers went on to say, "We really haven't. I think it's as much of an offensive problem as it is a defensive problem. I think we're really struggling scoring. They're taking Ryan Rollins out of it. We don't really have the ability right now to get into anything else when he doesn't have it." That's what I was talking about with the coaches. We got to figure it out like the coaches do. We got to take the burden off of them and try to make it easier for them. And then he went on to ask, what were the preliminary answers? And he went on to say, clearly ball movement. I think right now we're easier to guard. We're trying too many pick and rolls. We don't get off the ball. So we're thinking about it. We know what we need to do. We just got to be able to execute it. And folks, this clearly shows here from what Doc Rivers has said. I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the jack of all trades of this team. I mean, he does everything. He's one of the best passers. He's obviously the best scorer. He's one of the best. He is the best defender on the team. I don't know what I'm saying. He's the best rebounder on the team, which is something that I have really tried to highlight here, which is something that the Milwaukee Bucks need is rebounding. Even when Giannis was playing, this team was not rebounding very well. They rank with some of the lower teams in the league, and him being out is a humongous loss on the boards, and one of the big reasons why they have dropped 5 games in a row. But Doc Rivers saying here, described it pretty well. They're taking Ryan Rollins out of the game, who is supposed to be the primary scorer now that Giannis Antetokounmpo is out, besides maybe Miles Turner. And when you lock down your guy and Ryan Rollins and kind of taking everybody else out of the game, you're kind of leaving it up to Kyle Kuzma, Miles Turner, Bobby Portis, and AJ Green to kind of create from themselves. And those guys aren't as effective at creating points off the dribble as Ryan Rollins is. Most of those guys are pretty much spot up shooters. I don't want to say Kuzma is more of a spot up shooter because he in Washington was really effective at creating shots and getting buckets efficiently off the dribble. But right now in his time in Milwaukee, he's not having the best performance here so far. But taking a look at the box score here from the game against the Portland Trailblazers last night, we had some good performances. Some from Cole Anthony in the limited minutes that he has. He's come up big in some games this year, but of course, they didn't get the win last night, and that's not what we want. But hopefully, they can kind of carry this into Miami tomorrow and kind of hope to get a bounce back win. I know Miami's a tough opponent; they're a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference right now, but hopefully they can hold out and pull off a win. But there's another comment here from Doc Rivers here. Another tweet here from the same person that said, "What did you feel like the Trailblazers were able to do to limit Ryan Rollins?" And he said, "Just pressuring him. Same thing as the last team did. You can predict that. The league is copycat. After the other night, I told our coaches Ryan's next couple of games, they're going to be able to trap him and pressure him and try to speed him up because they know he's really..." We don't have a lot of ball handling out there on the floor. We don't have a lot of ball handling on the team in that way. And so we have to figure out as moving. We're running some middle action with our big handling, doing dribble handoffs. I thought we had some success the other night. And tonight when we did that, Bobby was phenomenal doing it. And, before we close up today's video, guys, we got to take a look at one little tweet here where the Bucks, who have lost 5 straight, look like one of the worst teams without Giannis Antetokounmpo on the court. Milwaukee is now carrying an 8-10 record during an ongoing evaluation period from Giannis. The next month will be very important for Milwaukee to right the ship. And obviously, we mentioned that before. Having Giannis on the floor is obviously one of the primary things that this team needs to win basketball games and to kind of scratch away to a play-in spot. But hopefully Giannis will be back within the next week. It's been a week already, and that was the timetable given for his injury with his his groin. So hopefully he can make it back soon and have a healthy and speedy recovery. But thanks, guys. That's going to do it for today's video. And as always, go Bucks.